When it comes to movies made in the United States, the name Hollywood is pretty much synonymous with the American film industry. Nearly every major studio has a lot in Hollywood, California, and the Hollywood sign is an instantly recognizable tourist attraction for people worldwide. The name Hollywood itself is so iconic that film industries all over the world adopt the name in some form. There's Bollywood for the Indian film industry, and then there's Chinawood for the Chinese film industry. Some continents even have multiple woods, like Africa, who has Swahili wood for Tanzania, Riverwood for Kenya, and Gollywood for Ghana. The movie I'm reviewing today is a product of Nollywood, the film industry in Nigeria. Swallow is a 2021 Netflix film directed by, and I know I'm going to jack up these names, Kunle Afolayan, and starring Nayola and Ajioma Grace Agu. The synopsis for Swallow says that it's about a secretary who, after facing a series of hardships in 1980s Lagos, Nigeria, decides to enter the drug trade with her friend. You'd be forgiven for thinking that sounds like an interesting premise, especially from the African point of view, but Swallow pulls a bit of a bait and switch. The story is less about the drug trade and far more about the life of Talani Ajo, played by Nayola, and her best friend and co-worker Rose, played by Ajioma Grace Agu. It's easy to be disappointed about an hour into the movie because of the false promises, but Swallow actually does a good job keeping you interested, even if it is presenting you with a story that you didn't think you would care about. It helps that the movie is well acted and the set pieces are excellent. I really have no idea what 1980s Nigeria looked like, but if I had to create an image in my head of what it might have looked like, I would imagine it looks like the movie Swallow. There's a lot of detail and attention paid to getting the visuals and the technology just right. And at no point was I taken out of the movie because it looked modern day. I just wish as much effort was put into the hair. It's very obvious that a lot of the actors are wearing wigs, but once again, I have no idea how hair looked in 1980s Lagos. The hair could have been just as bad as these wigs for all I know. If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan for the African culture shown in the movie, and it's this rich culture that distracted me away from the fact that this movie is basically a long workplace melodrama. An overwhelming amount of the movie takes place at Tolani's and Rose's job. And although it explores quite a bit of issues like misogyny, harassment, religion, and class, the movie spends way too much time dragging these scenes out with very little payoff. By the time you get to the advertised drug running aspect of the movie, there's only 30 minutes left, which would have been fine if Swallow didn't clock in at an overly long 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's way too long to tell the story, and they could have shaved off 30 to 45 minutes easily and had a movie that was just as good. Luckily for Swallow, despite its false promises and bloated length, it's not boring. The characters have interesting dialogue and are diverse, as long as you don't mind reading subtitles. And there's some real emotion here. The pacing is just all over the place. Take for instance a scene where a young boy in Talani's neighborhood goes missing. The scene goes on forever and serves absolutely no purpose to the overall story, or the numerous scenes that cut to people enjoying soccer on TV. There's a lot of scenes like this in Swallow, and it ultimately brings down and distracts away from the main narrative. As a result, it delivers an ending that ultimately falls very flat, made worse by the fact that it's also one of those movies that begins with the ending, ruining any surprise going forward. A few small decisions and changes would have improved this movie greatly, because all the pieces are there. My grade for Swallow is a C+. It's worth a watch for the culture and likable characters alone, but if you're looking for a movie that sticks to the promise of the premise, then you could probably skip this one. Let me know how you felt about the movie Swallow in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And check back next time for more TV and movie reviews.